Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you a brand new series. What if Naruto died and returned back to the life of living as an agent of death? In this guys, Naruto is going to be transformed, trained by the Shinigami and all that the life of death has to offer in ways of growing stronger. The world as we know it is something that is kept away from humans, mostly the supernatural parts. And you will see as Naruto is sent back as an agent of death to hunt and reap all those that try to mess with the balance of the natural human world while also being a shinobi. Yes, it's going to be quite chaotic. So yeah, if you enjoy seeing what's the other part, go ahead, comment down below and tell me. And I'll be posting part 2 as soon as possible. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification for the other channels and this as well guys. Links will be down in the description, so yeah. Without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now guys. It began, as many stories do, with a single person and a single defining moment. A moment which a person in question is set on a path, which they will travel to greatness. On this path, choices are made, heroes and villains are born, and destinies are fulfilled. In this case, that single person is Naruto Uzumaki, and that defining moment is death. Our story begins 11 years after the gigantic demonic fox ravaged through the hidden leaf. When it appeared, the beasts ravaged through the village and slaughtered hundreds, civilians and shinobis alike. None could stand against the sheer power the beast wielded. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, a man who once eviscerated the entire army with a single attack, was no match for the fox. However, as all hope seemed lost, Minato Namikaze summoned a being that made the Kyuubi seem like a dust beneath his fingernail. The Shinigami, death itself. Minato made a deal with the omnipotent being, his soul in exchange for sealing the beast away. With this, a pact was made, as Minato sealed the beast away into a newborn child, Naruto Uzumaki. Minato knew that the village had lost a lot, and they would see the child as the Kyuubi in reincarnation. A foolish notion, yes, but humans, they're naive, and they fear what they don't understand. That is how it has been for millennia. The fort knew that the possibility of the villagers developing a hatred for the child was very possible indeed. And so, with his dying breath, he begged them to honor the child as a hero that he was, that was keeping them all safe by holding the beast at bay. With those final words, he died. As the Shinigami took his soul, the pact was complete. However, despite being worshipped by his people, the fourth Hokage wish was ignored by the majority of the people within Konoha. The moment the infants linked to the fox was revealed, majority called for his death. On that day, honor was replaced with spite and hatred. For just as humans were capable of great compassion, they were also capable of so much cruelty. In the 11 years that passed, the people of Konoha would do whatever it takes to inflict physical, mental, or otherwise pain on the boy. Most days they would find him and chase him down with mobs. He would be stabbed, burned. Once, they even tried to bury him alive, telling him that it was the closest thing to a funeral that he would ever receive. Aside from the physical torment, they found other ways to hurt him. Most of these ways are refusing to sell him the basics, give him water, food, shelter. The food and drink that he did receive as anonymous gifts were either poison or spoil. But despite the numerous attempts on his life, he always survived because of the fox seal inside of him. It did not want to die as much as his prison, so it healed his wounds and purged the poison from its body. The third Hokage, who had retaken the position after the death of the fourth, tried everything he could, but despite known as the god of shinobi as well, he was only a man. But Naruto still made a few friends outside of the third. There was Iruka, an older brother figure to him. Iruka had lost his parents in the Kyuubi attack, however, despite that, he realized that Naruto and the fox were not in the same. Many failed to realize that, but Iruka realized. The kid was just lonely. He wanted friends, a family, someone to be there for him. Iruka had felt the same way when he lost his parents, so he started to look out for Naruto. There was also Ayame and Toki. They owned the best place where Naruto could go and eat without receiving spoiled or poisoned food, as he always gave him free ramen as well. However, they were not his own age, as he did not have many friends his own age because the parents always told him to stay away from him. The third knew that the ones that were alive that witnessed the Kyuubi attack would never get over it, so he created a law so that no one could talk about it or tell their children about it. The punishment was execution, without trial. But despite that, children are gullible and easy to manipulate, so all their parents had to do was tell him to hate him, and they did. He did have one friend though, one friend his age, one that did not care if she was ostracized because of her friendship with the Uzumaki. Her name was Hinata Hyuga. She was the daughter of one of the oldest and most revered clan in Konoha, those who carry the all-seeing eyes, the Hyuga clan. Most of the clan disliked her because of her soft and gentle nature, because they were mostly stoic and always seemingly heartless, and also her friendship with Naruto. However, on this day though, today was his birthday, and they were celebrating the defeat of the Kyuubi, and Naruto found himself running away from a group of angry villagers. However, this time, they were not alone. Today was the moment. Today was a day that the defining moment of Naruto Uzumaki life will concur. Today was the moment that Naruto Uzumaki died, as Naruto was hit in the leg with a kunai because the civilians were not alone. Anvus were amongst them. Anvus were supposed to be the village guards from the shadows, and yet here they were, inflicting pain on a young child. Naruto crashed on the ground as he looked up, as he got the hell beaten out of him, as the crowd parted after beating the boy senseless. However, it was not done. The leader, the Anvu there, the one that seemed to push them to carry on with what they were doing, was holding a katana in his hand. He was wearing a bear mask. Naruto could not move. He could only gaze up at the man that led the attack against him. He snarled. There was so much hatred in those eyes. "Hello, Kyuubi," he said. "Do you remember me?" he asked. Naruto did not answer. Well, he wasn't capable of speaking at the moment. As the Anvu continued, "I'm not surprised. You believe that mere mortals are beneath you after all. But now, you are beneath me, aren't you? Let me remind you then, when you attacked the village all those years ago, I launched a fire jutsu that hit you right in your ugly face. You barely flinched. You glared at me and roared, sending me flying through a building. I hit the ground. I tried to move. I tried. But all I could do was move my torso. My legs were broken, and I saw bodies all around me. However, do you know who I found right beside me, trying to escape away from all of this?" The Anvu dried his kunai down, making sure not to hit anything vital, as Naruto cried out. "It was my wife," he yelled. "The woman I pledged myself to. The woman I promised to protect with my dying breath. She was dead. I must have passed out because I woke up in a hospital bed, hoping that what I saw was a terrible nightmare. No, it was not. A doctor told me that my wife was dead," he said as he slowly twisted the blade, causing Naruto more pain. "And it was all because of you. You murdered her, and that old man let you get away with it. I've plotted, I've waited, and today, not anymore. I can finally have my revenge on you," he said, as he pulled a kunai, leaving the katana impaled in Naruto. "The old man is not here now, and I made sure to sedate my fellow Anvus so they won't be here to protect you. No one's gonna save you. You have no idea how long I've been waiting to do this." The crowd cheered the man on. "This is for my wife. May she rest in peace," he said. And with that, he slit the child's throat open, as Naruto desperately tried to clutch on to anything that he could. As he gripped his throat, the blood pouring past his fingers, that is when they heard someone roared out, "No!" The bear mask Anvu turned as a feet slammed right into the side of his head with such force. His head slammed into the opposite building, knocking him out cold. The envoy that appeared did not even pay attention to the crowd. As he leaned down and cradled the boy in his arms, Naruto, Naruto, look at me, he said. You're gonna be alright. Stay with me, he said. The crowd was confused why he was worried about this demon. And they realized if this envoy saved the demon, their efforts would be for nothing. However, Beer was not alone. Other envoys that support his cause was in the crowd, and they saw who it was. Step away from the demon, dog. Screw you, Dog said, his tone coming out violent as he picked up the child. The look in his eyes was one of pure death. As the man in the crowd tried to move, however, 3 figures appeared. What scared the crowd shitless was the old man that stood there. Harrison Sartobi, the envoy that tried to stop Dog from saving the child, started to sweat as he took several fearful steps back. Hokage-sama, he said. You fool. Do you realize what you people have done? The crowd started to get terrified. Bloodlust that caused them to drop to their knees. Some of them begging out in mercy as they felt their throat tighten. Their blood inside was like it was boiling. The bloodlust was hitting them so bad that some of them started to pass out. As the man spoke up with a mask, We killed the Kyuubi. No, you fool! You just killed Naruto Uzumaki, the son of Minato no Mikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. You killed the son of the 40 Yell! Everyone present except for Dog and the 2 envoy that accompanied Hokage was shocked out of their skin. The envoy that had tried to stop Dog couldn't believe what he was hearing. That's not. The mind of the people were going in a frenzy. However, Harrison Saratobi, as he stood there and he was not able to feel anything from the child, something inside of him just snapped. As the man took off his hat, he removed his robes. The people there were shaking fearfully. People like you, he said. None of you deserve to live. They begged for mercy, dropping to their knees, the ones that were weak, as they tried to plead with their Hokage, believing that he wouldn't do this to them. However, the blood, the guts, body parts were scattered all over, as Harrison Saratobi massacred them all. A massacre like this was not seen since the Uchiha massacre that happened years prior. Harrison was panting and trembling in rage. Killer intent was washing over the entire village. One of the envoy wearing a cat mask took a few steps cautiously towards her leader. Hokage-sama, stop, she said. You did it. They're dead, she said, trying to calm her leader down. The man slowly took several deep breaths as he tried to rein in his anger, looking up towards the dog masked envoy. The boy. There was nothing. Harrison could feel that the moment they arrived on the scene. That is the reason why Dog had not moved off yet to get into the hospital. There was nothing. Harrison stepped forward as he saw the boy. His eyes were open in shock. They were empty. Naruto Uzumaki was dead. As Kakashi closed the eyes of the boy and placed him down when he saw something, Kakashi reached as he pulled out a kunai, moving towards Beer. Grabbing him by the collar, he picked him up. As he pulled the kunai back, Kakashi stopped. Why? This animal. He murdered Naruto. He deserved nothing less. He deserved much more, Harrison said. Death will be too good for him, Harrison said. Kakashi said nothing for a few moments before he released the unconscious man. You're right. Death is not enough, he said. Harrison turned his head towards the 2 envoys. Cat, Hawk. Take him to Ibiki. I will come to speak to him soon. As he nodded and went off. Pick up Naruto, Kakashi, Harrison said. We're going to give him a proper funeral. Proper funeral? Kakashi said. I'm going to make an announcement to the entire village. They will know that they have hated and tortured the son of their greatest heroes. They will spend the rest of their life knowing what they have done. Kakashi nodded as he went to pick up the child's body, when something happened. As Kakashi lifted Naruto up, Naruto's body crumbled into dust. Their eyes widened. What just happened? Said Kakashi, moving his hand through the dust. Hiruzen didn't know what to say, as he had no idea. Elsewhere, after Naruto's death, Naruto's day had taken a turn. A lot had happened. First, he was running from the mob until he was caught. He heard the beer mask said something about Kyuubi. Then he was stabbed. Then his throat, as Naruto reached up, but he felt nothing. As Naruto stood on the same street that he just got stabbed on. However, no one was around, not a single soul. And there was also a mixture of orange and gold light almost everywhere. As Naruto was confused, not seeing anything or anyone, and this light just encompassing everything. Yes, he was definitely confused, wondering what was going on. Something was very wrong. Naruto then felt something in his gut. Looking down, the katana was still inside of him. His eyes widened, but there was no blood. Nor did he feel like he was dying. It was official, something was wrong, and it was about to get so much more worse. As he was about to remove the katana, ink-like substance appeared on the ground in front of him, and something rose from it. It was tall, at least 3 times his height, and wearing a cloak, and the hood was attached, covering its head. The cloak was open, exposing a ribcage, with a veil of rotten flesh around it. 2 threads lined with beads that looked like golden skulls encircling his waist. Its hands were sickly grey, with golden bracelets wrapped around both of his wrists. The hood seemed to be too tall and too wide, leaving it to sag across his head. Its face was a rotten face of a corpse, sunken and grey like the rest of its body, with no nose or eyes. 2 slightly curved horns were protruding from its hood. It had no visible legs, and it was hovering from the ground by some unseeable force. In its left hand, it was holding on to a gigantic scythe, taller than itself. The hilt was made from a human spine, with a point at the tip, as the main blade was at the top, curving around several grooves that sink into it, giving the weapon a more intimidating look. As Naruto was terrified. He's never been so afraid of something his entire life. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto jumped slightly as he heard the raspy tone, dark, twisted. Your fate is decided. Everlasting damnation for your sins. Naruto's eyes widened as he realized what this was. He read something about something like this, or heard something. It was the Shinigami. Wait, did that mean he was dead? He didn't understand, but he said that, "But I didn't do anything wrong," Naruto yelled, his voice trembling in fear. The ground started to break apart as Naruto looked up to see a dark, swirling sky sucking the earth away. They seemed to be in a tunnel floating towards a white light at the end. The Shinigami seemed to scoff at him. Your very existence is a stain on the natural order. The fact that you live is enough to deserve everlasting damnation. Naruto's eyes widened. So it was true. The villagers have called him a monster, demon for years. And now, he was being told that by death itself. It was true, Naruto thought. The Reaper then held out his hand. Come, face eternity. Soon you will be joined by those lives you have ruined before, whose souls you have damned, the innocents you have corrupted, seduced into becoming your friends. Naruto's eyes widened. Aruka-sensei, Toki, Ayom, Gigi, Hinata-chan. As Naruto clenched his fists, he has lived a life of nothing but pain and torture. His loved ones were the one that saved his sanity. He could care less what happened to himself, but no one, it doesn't matter who, no one would hurt his precious people. Naruto looked up with a fearsome glare. I don't care what happened to me, but you won't touch anyone dear to me. Naruto looked down towards the katana embedded in his stomach. He gripped it, as Naruto then realized the pain, but still he fought through it as he ripped it out. I'll kill you first, said Naruto. He knew that this thing was death, but he did not care. The Reaper scoffed. Pretending to possess compassion will not save you, creature. Your blackened soul is mine. He gripped his sight as he took a stance. The Reaper flew forward as Naruto moved and swung at his midsection, but the thing disappeared. Death appeared behind him and swung, tearing into Naruto's back. Naruto cried out in pain and stumbled forward. The Shinigami laughed. You have no skills. And even if you did, I cannot be defeated here. Naruto glared at him. We'll see, he said, as he launched again. Death easily blocked the attack before he backhanded Naruto across. Accept your fate. Let me take you. Never, said Naruto as he got to his feet. Death then threw the sight right towards Naruto. Naruto jumped as he rolled to the side. The sight then flew back towards Death, as Naruto was unable to move as it hit, smacking his chest, knocking him down, as Death caught his weapon and jumped forward, aiming to bring the sight down on Naruto. As Naruto caught his breath and rolled, the sight slammed into the ground. As Naruto got up and raised the blade in his hand, Naruto swung. Death released a cry of pain and turned. He backhanded Naruto as Naruto crashed hard. He then moved and brought the sight down, however, Naruto brought up the blade and blocked. What? How is it possible? His weapon should have sliced right through. Naruto took advantage of that and pulled and swiped right at his mid-stomach. As Death moved back and swung his sight as he did, as Naruto moved back as well, if he had not, his head would have come clean off. Death then started to slash at him as Naruto barely kept up, before it slashed and knocked his blade away. His throat was then grabbed as he was pulled to eye level. You have failed, demon. Now you will be judged, and your defiance will only inflict more pain on those you have tainted. Their suffering will be legendary, as will yours, said Death. All Naruto felt when he first arrived here was fear. However, now, all he felt was rage. Ungodly rage. He was going after the people that he cared about. Death raised his blade. Now, face your sins. However, Naruto reached for his blade that was too far away, as he willed it to come to him. Something strange had happened as he felt a strange feeling. The blade was yanked right toward his hand. Naruto caught it and plunged it right into Death's shoulder. Shadowy smoke poured from the wound. The Shinigami released a world-shaking scream that shook the world that they were in. As he reached, dropping his own sight, reaching for the blade in his shoulder. As Naruto dropped to the ground, he clutched at his throat, but he knew he didn't have time. As he grabbed the sight, as Naruto rushed towards Death, Death ripped the sword out of him as he reached for his sight to return to him. However, something was wrong. He could not feel it. What? Naruto slashed, slicing him across the chest before he slashed again, creating an X shape. As Naruto then pushed it forward, to his surprise it transformed right in his hand into a spear. The blade plunged right through the Shinigami and burst right through its back. As Naruto pulled it out and impaled him again and again and again. He continued this 7 times before he pulled back and stabbed as hard as he could, running forward with it. The Reaper was launched off the blade and sent flying across the platform. Death rolled as he crashed hard, his body shaking spasm. As he looked up, impossible, he said. He raised his shaky hand, trying to return his weapon back to him, but it was not leaving Naruto's hands. As Naruto looked at the sight that he was holding, he swung it as he turned back into a sight. Despite the thing being twice his size, and he's never used a blade before, Naruto held it like an expert. Death was shocked as a dark red aura surrounded Naruto. His eyes got slitted, his whisker marks darkened, as Naruto was no longer afraid. How is this possible? How are you using Harvest? How are you able to fight me here? This is my realm. I'm invincible here, Death yelled out in despair. As Naruto rushed forward. No, stay back. Stay away from me, Death said, fear in his tone. As Naruto did not listen as he slashed and slashed and slashed. The only thing the creature could do was cry out in pain. Finally, Naruto swung it upwards, slashing his face. Naruto then spun and stabbed it into his foe's chest. He then lifted him up in the air before he brought him down. Boom! Crushing him hard on the ground. He then yanked the blade out and kicked him across the platform. As Naruto rushed forward and jumped, Death looked up as Naruto sliced, taking his arm off in the process. As Naruto then hooked the sight around his throat, Death stood there frozen. What? What are you? He said. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. But for you, I will be your death, said Naruto. Death trembled. Master! Master! He called out. Help me! Naruto paused in shock. Master? Death was calling a master? Why? Naruto froze as he looked around. As he heard someone spoke, Naruto could not see what was going on, where this voice came from, until he turned his gaze and looked up to the sky. He saw something even more terrifying than death. It towered over death, a demonic face and glowing, golden eyes. Its skin was a darkish, blue-gray color, long shaggy white hair, and two horns protruding from its head, clothed in flowing white robes. Its arms were purple and thin, its finger ending in long nails. As Naruto was now confused, as the description fit the Shinigami. But this, what was he fighting then? The hooded creature looked up. Shinigami-sama, thank the creator that you're here. Quickly, destroy the monster before it escapes. Naruto was more confused. If this horn being was a Shinigami, then what was he fighting all along? As Shinigami spoke, you are in no position to demand anything of me. You came here against my wishes. Omen, you broke your oath to the cause, and to me. The hooded creature now known as Omen cringed. But master, he said, I was only here to serve the cause, to protect mankind against the dark foes, who seek to destroy and corrupt them. Naruto was caught off guard as Shinigami blinked out of reality and appeared in a second, as he roared in Omen's face, showing immense sharp teeth. Omen shrank into himself in fear. You dare lie to me, you deceitful worm. You came here to serve your own cause, to settle your vendetta against demonkind. They're monsters, a threat to the balance, Omen said. Demons may be, but you know as I that the Jinchurikis are not demons, nor are they threats unless they choose to be. Even then, it is not our business to involve ourselves into humanity's affair. We are their silent guardians. We protect them, watch over them, and they do not know about us. Omen seemed to grow angry, and yet we let these, he gestured towards Naruto, monsters run around without our oversight. We let the humans control them. The Kyuubi nearly annihilate one of the most powerful human settlements until your intervention stopped it. How long until it escaped again and finished its task, disrupting the order? Naruto was confused. What the hell was a Jinchuriki? And what did it have to do with the Kyuubi? The Shinigami growled at his servant's defiance. Minato Namikaze invoked the pack. I must appear when the pack is called. The Jinchurikis are not a threat, neither are the Biju they contain. They all agree a long time ago not to disrespect the balance and not to involve themselves. But they did, Omen said, because they were forced. A handful of greedy human leaders subdued them and sealed them into innocent human children. Humans are weak. They cannot handle that kind of power. All it takes is a simple mistake to unleash total destruction upon the world. The only way to stop the threat is to permanently silence a Biju when they're vulnerable. And this is the only time. That is not your decision to make, the Shinigami said. I did not create the Reaper Core to control humanity or decide the future. I created it to protect them from destruction. When mankind chooses, they chooses to what made themselves stronger, not what is right. They cannot be trusted to make their own decisions. Have you forgotten Kaguya and the Shinju? Omen said, I have forgotten nothing. Do not think you can lecture me on events that happened before you were born, boy. Humanity can only achieve its full potential if it's not affected by an outside source. That is what the creator said, and I agree with him completely. Then you're a fool. Omen widened his eyes at what he just said. Master, no, Shinigami said, interrupting him. You meant every word, and you're right. I am a fool for believing that you will not let your past life affect your judgment. He raised his hand. Omen was blown as he slammed hard into the ground, as every wound that Naruto gave him seemed to not compare in the slightest to what he just received from death. The Shinigami then turned towards Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto jumped as he looked towards the Reaper. I apologize for Omen's actions. Clearly, I made a mistake when recruiting him. Now, he has disobeyed my orders and threatened the innocents. Threats he would have acted upon if he was given a choice. He then turned back to Naruto. Kill him. Both Naruto and Omen eyes widened. What? The both of them said. He tried to reap your soul because he hates what you carry inside of you. He was going to kill your loved ones simply for their connection to you. He has misused the power I've given to him and misused it for his own uses. He has broken his oath. For that he must die. As Naruto remembered what the Reaper said he was going to do to his loved ones. And now the Shinigami told him that he would have done it if he got the chance. Naruto walked forward with Harvest in his hand. That was the name of the weapon. No. He begged, please don't. However, Naruto did not listen as he brought the blade down, slicing the Reaper in half. The two halves fell to the ground and dissolved into shadow. It is done. As Naruto looked down towards his fallen foe, the blade dropped from his hand as he dropped to his knees and threw up. As Naruto started to realize what he was currently going through right now, his mind whirling, everything. And not to mention this was the first time that he killed. Well, it was a thing, it didn't matter, but it's still. He was a threat to humanity. His desires are fueled by rage. As Naruto simply stood there, it took him a while as he picked the blade back up and got to his feet. Feeling better? Yes, Shinigami-sama, said Naruto, bowing with respect. If this was the real deal, he had to show some respect. You are most welcome. It's the least I can do. After being unable to stop your premature death. Premature, said Naruto. Right. I forgot to tell you. You weren't supposed to die today. I wasn't, said Naruto. Indeed. Omen. Manipulate a naive death counter in order to end your life far sooner than possible. A what? Death counter. They are responsible for tracking all living souls and make sure they die at the correct time. Then a Reaper come and collect the soul and bring it to me, where I determine which afterlife they are sent to. Naruto was confused. But you're the Shinigami. Don't you decide when someone dies and collect their souls? Firstly, I prefer to be called Death and no mortal. The Creator decides when someone is born and when someone dies. I merely collect the death half of the equation. Besides, do you know how much people die every day? Even I can't do all the work. Naruto nodded. It did sound like a difficult job. He then remembered something. Who's the Creator, he said. Exactly what his title said. He is the maker of all things. The one who created the heavens, the earths, and everything in between. To humanity, he goes by many names. God, Kami, Allah, etc., etc. But to everyone else, he's simply called by his title, the Creator. As Naruto realized that death tone sound, you sound like you're close to him, said Naruto. He's my brother. Or at least, the closest thing I have to one. We need one another. We cannot exist without each other. I reap what he sows. It's a never-ending cycle. One we are forever a part of. Now, please don't refer to anyone what I just showed. Compassion and reverence. I have an image to maintain after all. As Naruto chuckled a bit. I won't, I promise, he said. Good, said Death. What's a Jinjulke? Naruto asked. As Death turned back towards Naruto fully. A human sacrifice. Someone that contained one of the 9 Bijus. Oh, I see. I'm one of them, right? Said Naruto. Yes. You contain the power of the Kyuubi. As Naruto's mind started to whirl. No. Naruto glanced up. You and the Kyuubi are 2 different beings. You are merely the prison that contained the fox's power. How do you know that I'm not a monster or demon? Said Naruto. Because I, young one, I've seen monsters and demons. And trust me, you are the furthest away from one. And you can believe my words. I'm older than universe itself. Does that answer your question? Yeah, said Naruto. But why do they believe I'm the Kyuubi though? Can't they tell the difference? Grief, anger, sadness. Those who cannot understand eventually hate. That is a word. That is a way of mankind. Nearly everyone within the village lost someone. A friend, family member, lover. I would know. My reapers and I were very busy that day. Grief can drive humans to do a number of unspeakable things. The soul is one of very twisted moral mentality. It doesn't matter what is the outcome. Would they have realized that I'm not the Kyubi? Doubtful. Humanity in a whole is stubborn. They always want to admit that they're right. Saying that they're wrong goes against their very nature. It will take a miracle to convince them. I see, said Naruto. So there is a way. So, what happens now, said Naruto. What happens to me? Now? You go back to the land of the living, and I don't see you again until your appropriate time of death. When is that, said Naruto. I'm afraid I can't tell you that. However, it's not for quite some time. Oh, what about this, said Naruto. Harvest? Keep it. Really, said Naruto. Of course. It has chosen you after all. What does that mean, said Naruto. Did you notice how Omen could call Harvest back to himself after he threw it at you? Naruto nodded. And did you notice it would not respond to him after you picked it up? Naruto nodded again. Harvest is a sentient weapon. It think and it feel for itself and decided that you were the master. More than Omen, it has now bound itself to you. I couldn't even take it from you if I wanted to. As Naruto felt a small surge coming from the site, as he knew that he was alive. Hey, won't everyone be surprised if I just return from the dead? Most definitely. However, that will just make it more interesting. I guess so, said Naruto. Alright, I'm ready, he said. However, Death looked away as he mumbled something. Yes, perhaps this might just work. He then turned back towards Naruto. I have a proposition for you, Naruto Uzumaki. Would you like to hear it? He was worried, but he nodded. Listen until I'm finished, then you decide. As Naruto nodded once more. Good. Let me start from the beginning of the story. Long ago, before the recording of history, the Creator created Adam and Eve and allowed them to live in the realm of Eden. They would be the first, the paragon, for what this new species shall be. However, even in its infancy, humanity was vulnerable to corruption. They fell for the corruption and manipulation of Satan, otherwise known as the devil, Lucifer, the fallen one. Among others, he convinced Eve to eat from the fallen tree of knowledge, who convinced Adam to do the same. Because of this act of defiance, the Creator cast them onto earth out of Eden. He then made it so they and their descendants have to shed their blood, sweat and tears for their rewards. Nearly everyone knows this story. What humanity doesn't know is what happened next. The Creator realized that the human race was vulnerable to the corrupting influence of the denizens of hell and their Lord and Master Lucifer. To combat this threat, the Creator came to me. You see, my purpose is to gather the souls and send them to the life of the next. Who better to protect mankind from the supernatural threat than the one that straddles them between this life and the afterlife? The Creator asked me to create a way to fight this threat, a first and last line of defense between the human race and those who seek to exploit and destroy it. So I created the Reaper Corps, a group of humanity's finest, noblest soldiers, warriors, assassins, thieves, scientists, engineers, philosophers, alchemists, and the like. I will wait until their time on Earth is spent, then I will offer them a place in my organization after their death. It was a volunteer-only group, and those who did not want to join could pass on to the afterlife. Anyway, the core goal was simple: to protect mankind from the supernatural forces that want to destroy, enslave, and corrupt them. We were to preserve the balance between heaven, earth, and hell. The only catch was mankind could not know about us, or the supernatural in general. The panic that would spread would be catastrophic. Also, our members must sever all ties to their previous life and never try to contact their loved ones. No one must know that they still walk the earth, ever. And so, we work in secret. The core has saved creation countless times throughout history, and is still alive today. When not fighting the supernatural, the Reapers spend their time honing their skills or bringing me the souls of the deceit for judgment. Omen was one such, until he put his petty vendetta against the cause. Naruto was speechless as he heard all of that. Not only was Death, he was also the creator and leader of a secret organization that fights supernatural. That led Naruto to a question. Supernatural, you mean demons, right? Demons, fallen angel, monsters, spirits, the undead. Those things and more, said Death. Yes, nearly everything supernatural is real. You mean ghosts, werewolf, vampire, zombies? Yes, all of them. Whoa. That's awesome, said Naruto. As he couldn't believe it, all those books. Those things were real. All so scary as hell. But what does that have to do with me? Well, with Omen dead, I find myself in need of a replacement for him. And I was hoping you could fill his position. Me? But I'm not a hero, said Naruto. I don't even have the skills to be a part of your corps. Not yet, said Death. But you have great potential. You were able to kill a veteran Reaper with his own weapon. Granted, he was acting out of my permission, so his powers were greatly deteriorated without my authority, but you were still able to take him down. And he was an accomplished warrior. But that means I would have to stay dead, said Naruto. Normally, yes. But I have a proposition for you. You delay your return to your life and travel to my realm. He raised his hand, stopping Naruto from speaking. As he saw that Naruto was about to speak, let me finish. As Naruto let him proceed. As I said, you delay your return to life and travel to my realm, where the Reaper Corps is located, and you spend a few years there training in the ways of battle and all things supernatural, knowing and learning all about them. And when the time comes, I will send you back as a representation of me, and of all things living, meaning that you will hunt down all those who try to cheat death, and other things as well. Wait, can I still be a ninja? Of course. Being a shinobi, you will often come across things that you need to deal with as a Reaper as well. Sometimes the two career will intercept. As Naruto got really excited until Death raised a hand stopping him. But be warned, the life of a Reaper is not an easy one. The training will be brutal, arduous, and almost cruel in its execution. You will encounter things that will haunt both your nightmares and your waking thoughts. You will be forced to make difficult decisions for the good of humanity. You will make powerful enemies that will likely target those who you care for out of revenge. Most importantly, you may very well die an early death. In addition, being a Reaper is a lifelong commitment. If you join, you cannot leave until you die, or until I release you from your duty, something which may take a very long time. And so Naruto Uzumaki, knowing this, I make you this offer. Will you join the Reaper Corps? If you say yes, your new life begin. If you say no, I will not consider you a coward or uncommitment. I will send you back to Earth with no strings attached. I'll give you 1 hour to think about it, said Death. As he vanished, leaving Naruto alone on the floating platform. An hour later, Death arrived to see Naruto sitting there. I have come for your decision. Have you made one? I have, said Naruto. As he got to his feet, I'll accept your offer. Are you certain, said Death. I heard what you said, said Naruto, but my whole life has been hard. It seems that no matter what I do, my life has been hard from the start and it will still remain that way. And I would like to have more control over what I do anyways. Supernatural or not, I made a promise I would protect the ones I care about. They saved me from a life worse than this without anyone. It doesn't matter if the threats are human or not, I'll keep my promise. Besides, I got this new weapon. I believe there was a reason for that. Things could have gone differently. I could have just been killed by the Reaper, and I would have been gone. But I was given a choice, so I'm gonna take it, said Naruto. One last thing. What about the people I care about? Will they know I'm alive, said Naruto. Don't worry. It has been taken care of, said Death. He held his hand out as Naruto reached and took it, and they disappeared into the void. Hokage's tower, soon after Naruto's death. Hiruzen and Sarutobi arrive, He was drained. That young man, that boy, has been so full of life. Things were never depressing when he was around. And now he was dead. What am I going to tell the others, he mentally asks, referring to Naruto friends and loved ones. As he opened the door and stepped into... Hiruzen paused as someone was reading his novel. Well, novel, he say, but it was his book from Jiraiya. He could not make out the person's face from behind the book, but he could see the shaggy white hair. Is this really what passed for human literature? If so, I find myself severely disappointed. Hiruzen tense. Anvo, he called out. But no one came. They cannot hear you, Hiruzen Sarutobi. Time has stopped. A small alteration so that we can speak alone. Hiruzen turned back as he saw people outside. They were frozen. Who are you? How did you get in here? You will find I can do everything, if I have the mind to do so. As for my name, well, you already know it. Everyone, living or dead, knows me. Hiruzen was confused. I am the shadows, the being that haunt all things. I am a whisper in your ear, the feeling you get when you feel like you're being watched, the shiver running down your spine. I am the end of all things. But most importantly, he lowered the book as Hiruzen saw his face and stepped back. I am death. The Shinigami. Hiruzen whispered. I go by many names, but I prefer to be called Death. Why are you here? Are you here for me? Hiruzen asks. No. Actually, it would be easy if that was the reason why I'm here, but it is not. Your time has not yet come. At least, not yet. Hiruzen heard that comment, but he decided to ask what he wants. If my time hasn't come, then why are you here? Wait. Does this involve Naruto? Hiruzen didn't know why, but he just had this feeling. Ah, your mind worked fast. Uzumaki Naruto. Yes, this does involve him. You see, there was a bit of a misunderstanding on my end. Yes, Naruto Uzumaki was not supposed to die today. Not supposed to? But he did, Hiruzen said. Because of the meddling of one of my servants. He held a deep grudge against demons and believed the Bijus were a threat to humanity. And he was ready to send the boy's soul to damnation. Hiruzen was frightened as he heard that. Damnation? Calm yourself, mortal. The boy is safe. He overpowered the meddler and killed him. What? As Death went on to tell Hiruzen about the fight. Hiruzen was amazed. Naruto was normally a kind and gentle boy. It must have taken a lot to force him to use a Kyuubi power and even kill someone, despite this thing coming after him. Does this mean you'll resurrect him? Of course, but not yet. What do you mean? You see, I made a proposition to young Naruto, and he accepted my deal. He will spend a few years in my realm, the Void. There he will be trained by the best the afterlife has to offer. And when his training is complete, he will return and become one of your shinobis. Hiruzen was suspicious. And what exactly do you get out of this deal? When he returns, he will tell you. Hiruzen was confused, but he knew better than to push the issue with literal death. When will he return? When do the next batch of genin graduate? In 4 years. Sometime before that then, the training that he received in my realm will be better than the training he received at the academy to become a ninja, so there should not be any problem, Death said. Hiruzen sighed. This was gonna be a lot. The council would throw a fit at this. What does it matter what they think? You are the Hokage. You are above them, physically, mentally, and morally. I suggest you remind them of that. As Hiruzen nodded in agreement. Well then, I guess I'll be off. Wait. Death turned towards him, yes. Tell him that I'm glad he's alive, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again. He already knows. But I will tell him anyways. With that, Death vanished. Hokage-sama, Hiruzen turned. Are you alright, sir? As he saw the Anvu. Yes, I'm quite fine. First thing tomorrow morning, I want you to find Naruto's closest friends and bring them to my office. The Anvu nodded. Yes, Hokage-sama, he said. Tomorrow's gonna be a really busy day, Hiruzen thought to himself. He didn't expect any of this. However, something was wrong and he knew that when Naruto's body dissolved into nothing. And now to find out. He wondered what kind of deal Naruto made though, as he wondered what death was gonna get out of it. But at least, the boy will be returning, and that brought a smile to Hiruzen's face and know that he was alright, as he could not wait to see Naruto return. He was alright. A happy smile came on Hiruzen's face to hear that. All he had to do now was just to wait. Yes, to wait. But guys, if you end subscribe right here, if you enjoyed and you want to see the other part, go ahead and comment down below and tell me and I'll be posting it as soon as possible for you guys to enjoy. And don't forget guys, I also have 4 channels, yes. Anime King and Making 2 and Making 3 Anime Prince, which I post what if on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly, every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, check them out and yeah, enjoy. And stay in tune for the rest of what if's coming away, yes. And I hope you do guys. So without further ado, I'm off for now, see you guys soon. Peace.